I wanted to start off, actually, the audience weighed in terms of what they're seeing as the most attractive investment for their clients right now. And as you saw, stocks came out on top. Was that surprising to you?
You know, what was interesting is that there was such a wide variety of opinions. And I would expect in this room of very smart financial professionals that we would have different views. And being in the investment business, this is what we do day in and day out. Yet I know we're here to talk about women investors. And one of the findings of our research that we conducted over the last year, looking at the needs of women across this 800 population that we spent time engaging with, is that actually what matters to them in terms of the advice they get from an advisor is not necessarily investment related. In fact, women that end up leaving an advisor, it's only 1/3 of the time due to poor performance. It actually has so much more to do with, how engaged, what kind of personal connection they have with their advisor, and things like an advisor spending time really understanding a woman's needs and her specific situation, giving her the respect that she feels like she deserves, and really taking her concerns seriously. This is what really matters to them.
So Yie-Hsin, you just mentioned the research that you've done. It's actually just come out today, and you researched about 100 women investors, right, on what they were feeling about their financial advisors. Why did you decide to do that research in the first place?
Well, I go back to your opening. It's really pretty dramatic. The fact that women today control more than half of the country's wealth. They drive 75% of all consumer buying decisions in this country. They save more than men, yet if a man is investing $1,000, the woman is investing $600. And so the likelihood of her being able to achieve her true potential is worrying. And then you look at what is happening because more and more wealth is moving to women. There was a study I recently saw that suggested women control 14 trillion of personal wealth today. That's expected to grow to 22 trillion by the end of 2020. And so if there is a time where it's critically important for us to understand women's relationship with our industry, their relationship with financial advisors, and the degree to which their needs are being met, we felt this was the right time to do that.
So some of the research that came out of this report was around what you call in the report suddenly single women, women who have an event in their life where all of a sudden they're controlling more money by a lot than they have in the past. What did you find there?
You raise a very good point because sometimes we think about women investors as this homogenous group, and clearly they're not. And so one size does not fit all. So there were 4 distinct segments that we identified. And you talk about suddenly single women. Now, these are women that are recently divorced or just lost a spouse or a partner. For them, they are overwhelmed and feel like they want to be safe, to make sure they're making good decisions for themselves, for their children, and not decisions that they'll regret. The other segments include married breadwinners. These are women that contribute the lion's share of the family's income. And for them, they really want to be respected. Every day they go to work, they make important decisions, and they want to be respected in that same way when they engage with advisors. You also have married contributors, or equal partners, if you will. These are women that contribute to the household. It could be in a financial or a non-financial way. It's meaningful, but they're not necessarily the breadwinner. And for them, they don't want to be excluded from the conversation, right? They want to be in that conversation, regardless of what they contribute to the family. And then, of course, you have single women, right? These are women for a variety of reasons that are on their own. What they want is to be educated. They want to know that they are making really good financial decisions so they can maintain their independence going forward.
So Yie-Hsin, you're the highest ranking female operating executive at New York Life. And as the CEO of New York Life's investment management business, how do you plan to apply some of the findings to your own work and your own teams?
Well, as I mentioned, we had a number of really interesting insights from all of this research that we did, understanding clearly the needs of women, the real deep personal connections they want to have with their advisors. And what we've done is begun to put together concrete steps, actionable guidance that advisors really can use to engage with their women clients. You know, one of the most interesting aspects of the research, we looked at the women who said they were planning to leave their advisor or never work with an advisor again. The two segments that were the highest percentage were married breadwinners at just over 40% and suddenly single women at over 50%. Think about that for a minute. That's 1 out of every 2 suddenly single women that are thinking about leaving their advisor. And so it's so important that advisors are really engaging with their women clients when those women may be married contributors or married breadwinners to establish that relationship so that when a life event occurs, they are able to help that woman who really needs the help to get through that event and secure a good future for herself and her children.
So as you said that, there is the potential for a lot of turnover of financial advisor clients if they don't have a strong relationship with women. So what's one of the key takeaways that for people in this room, they could take with them as they leave today to better build relationships?
It's a very good question. You know, some of the common themes we heard in our research is that women really want a personal connection. You know, they want the advisor to take the time to really understand their complete situation. It's not just what are their goals in terms of retirement. It's also what is their life like day to day? Where are they spending money? Where are they saving? How are they thinking about taxes, debt, insurance, all of those factors. And, you know, it's only when the advisor has truly taken the time to fully appreciate a woman's situation that she then is open to having that dialogue, that conversation, and it allows the advisor really to begin even asking very simple questions like, you know, what financial topics do you want to learn more about? Or would you like me to send you white papers or articles on topics that I think you should know more about? Right? Some of this does seem rather basic, but on the other hand, the research that we found shows that this is really not common practice today. And so I think it is about rethinking that relationship, appreciating that what women consider important is the soft side of things, the emotional intelligence side of a relationship that leads to greater satisfaction, but meeting women there and then understanding where their life situation might be and then beginning to rebuild that relationship.
Once you've built a strong relationship, what are your thoughts on whether or not there are actually concrete differences between women and men in terms of picking specific investments, like we had on the poll in terms of stocks, bonds, other asset classes?
You know, I think as a general rule, education was a theme that came out very strongly in the research that we had conducted. And I think there is, at every level, whether you're single, suddenly single, there's a real need to understand, you know, all those different facets. And actually what was really interesting is that women weren't just wanting to educate themselves. They wanted to make sure their children were well educated. You know, I live in this city. I have 3 children. I was trying to find summer camps to get them really financially literate. It's hard to come by, right? So these are some of the things that I think advisors can start thinking about, you know, providing for their women clients, and can really make a big difference.
That's interesting. So you were looking for your kids to have some sort of a class over the summer where they could, yeah, it's interesting. So that makes me think, how did you as a woman get into investment management?
I started out in financial services as an investment banker when I graduated school. And in that time period, probably a couple years after, my mother found herself in a situation where she was suddenly single. And for most of our lives, my father handled all of everything that went on in our house. And then I, all of a sudden, as the oldest daughter, really stepped in to sort through all of her situation. And so, you know, it was pretty impactful for me as I realized the impact that advisors, our industry, and our community can have on women at different points in their life cycle. And so as I thought about areas that I wanted to transition to, investment management to me made a lot of sense because the need is great. as we heard from you, right? This is an important development that's happening. Women are coming into a lot of money. And it's so important for all of us to really focus on helping them really secure the financial future they deserve.
Terrific. Yie-Hsin, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for sharing your insights on your new research that's out on women and sharing some of your thoughts on how financial advisors can help them.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.